All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. We got a brand new edition of Value Hunting here on So Rare. It's game week 15, so we're going to be diving in, trying to find a handful of guys with a cap of 20 or under. If you're new to So Rare, welcome. It's fun. We're having fun. There's a link in the show notes. You sign up today using that link. You get 20 free common cards. You don't have to spend $1 or an ETH. You can just play for free and try to win up some limited cards. However, if you do splash around a little bit, if you buy 5 things off the auction, you'll get the 6th one free if you use our link. So sign up using our link. Also, we'll be using Momentum Labs projections today. So you can find a link to those in the show notes as well. If you get behind the paywall, you get to dive into all of these projections that we're using over here at Momentum Labs. And last piece of business, you can find a link to our Discord, the YouTube VIP, all of that stuff, all in the show notes. Please come hang out with us. All right, we are going to dive in right now to game week 15. Just a reminder, I believe this is the last game week where we can use limited in those rare contests, right? So if we take a look at the rare contender, I believe starting next week, we will no longer be able to use our limiteds in rares. So do we have to buy more rares? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But let's start now over with some projections. This is my first glance at it too. So you're getting a peek behind the curtain. You're getting to see the process. We do have to pay attention to some injury news. Nothing too crazy, right? So Beal's supposed to still miss some time. Something to pay attention to with the Lakers, right? I think LeBron got the night off last night against the Raptors, so I expect he'll be back. AD, however, right? He missed that game on, what was that, Tuesday night, where he played like 8 minutes and then missed the rest of the game for flu-like symptoms. Then he was sick on Wednesday. That's why he missed the game against the Raptors. This flu bug, I'm not even talking about COVID. This flu, RSV, I think it's called, whatever, has been really beating the crap out of people. We saw it rip through the Nuggets, and they missed a lot of time. So worth noting, like, let's pay attention to what happens with AD here. My first, again, I haven't looked at the spreadsheets yet, but we saw it last night. With no AD, Thomas Bryant really steps into an offensive role. They got crushed last night, so it's hard to take too much away from it. However, I do think his minutes are pretty stable if AD sits, and I actually think he becomes a better play if LeBron is back, because it just, like, with no LeBron and no AD, like, who are you covering, right? LeBron being back provides like a focus for the defense. It gets Bryant more open looks. LeBron's the creator. So something to pay attention to. Again, as always, we do a live before lock show here on Mondays and on Fridays. So this will be tomorrow at 5:30. Our man Gnome is going to be joining the show. We're going to be breaking down all the NBA injury news, figuring out who the hell we got to play, who we got to get rid of. And then honestly, it's just chaos before lock. It's a lot of fun. So let's get into the spreadsheets. Let's try to find like 5 guys with a cap of 20 or under. As always, I'm going to guess this is going to be a little bit harder than it typically is. I just feel like everyone's getting a little bit better at this game, and it's making value hunting a little bit better because everyone knows what the plays are. I will say, though, actually, one more thing. We want to victory lap a little bit. The last game week we did, or maybe it was Jalen Noel. No, it was the last one. Put Andrew Nembhard from the Indiana Pacers. He was the poster child. He was on the thumbnail, and then he smashed. Halliburton missed some time. TJ McConnell missed some time, and he went for like 70 or whatever it is. So if you played some Nembhard, hell yeah. I didn't. I talked about him and then didn't play him. All right, let's dive in. Let's see what we can find for a cap of 20. So AJ Griffin, Emmanuel quickly. It's funny. I thought these Atlanta guys were going to start to, as their cap goes up, that went up, and like people return from injuries. I thought this was going to start becoming not a bad play, but not a great play. However, DeJounte Murray left the game yesterday with an ankle injury. I imagine, like, he only played 4 minutes, right? So if it wasn't that bad, he would have come back later in the game. I would pay attention to this. They have 2 games over the weekend. So if we get some news on old DeJounte, if he sits, guys like AJ Griffin and Jarrett Culver are really gonna pop. Emmanuel quickly with Derrick Rose like no longer playing those minutes. Quickly's been moving into like this 30-minute window here. And you know, Tibbs, man, if you get into that rotation, you're golden. So I do kind of like Quickly. I wish his cap was a little bit lower. We're seeing here, he's got a cap of 20 with a projection of 23.9. But you look at AJ Griffin, he's got a cap of 20 with a projection of 26. Let's actually look both of those up over in manager sales. We'll look at limited because we are poor. And then let's take a look at Griffin first. Let's look at our man AJ. AJ, we've got $19. So he's actually come down a little bit. I suspect Quickly is a little bit cheaper. Let's look at Emmanuel quickly. About 14. Yeah. So those are like pretty close to the same type of value plays, and we're seeing it right there, right? So obviously a little bit more of a ceiling with AJ, however, a little bit cheaper for IQ. All right, let's keep scrolling down. Jalen Noel, we don't have to talk about him too much. He still continues to be a decent play. Again, I wish this cap was down around like the 15 to 17 range. 19, I mean, like the best we've seen Jalen do is get like 40, right? But I think that's an outlier performance. I think we can like bank on somewhere between 25 and 30. So I don't know. Let's look at Jalen Noel's price point while we're here. See if that seems to be of value. We got Jalen Noel. He is coming in at $22. Yeah, you're better off with the other two guys that we've talked about already. Tari Eason he's been playing pretty well lately. So he's got a cap of 19, a projection of 23.2. It seems like the Rockets are feeling a little bit more comfortable with Eason these days. So I do kind of like Tari Eason the most out of the guys we've talked about so far outside of the Hawks. And again, 14.88. He's got a cap of, look at this, cap of 19, projection of 23.2. So, man, all of these plays are pretty solid. I will say, though, value hunting technically is a cap of 20 or under, but we're going value hunting. So we're going to be scrolling down a little bit further here. We want to try to find some 15 and under, maybe a 10 and under. Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes put up a big score last night. I think he scored like 20, 24 real points. Same thing with Emmanuel Quickly, same thing with anybody from the New York Knicks that we talk about. Whether or not they're good doesn't matter. Quentin Grimes is going to play 30 plus minutes in almost every Knicks game. They won by like 30 last night against Atlanta, and he still played a ton of minutes. So if you have Quentin Grimes, I think he's a lock and load again this week. I'm going to keep playing Quentin Grimes. Actually, I wonder if his price has gone down because he was jacked up for a little bit. And Quentin Grimes still at $20. Okay. I was hoping that was going to be around 15. All right, KCP. I'm never really interested in playing KCP. Walker Kessler's popped a little bit. Lauri Markkanen missed the last game. And so Kessler does have like pretty decent double-double upside if he's going to get those minutes. Like with Markkanen in, Kessler's your backup big. So you're banking on him being very efficient with his minutes because he's probably only going to play 18 to 22 minutes. You really need him to be efficient. However, when Markkanen misses, then all of a sudden he's playing like 30 minutes a game. So I just pay attention to that Lauri news. Again, he sat last night against the Warriors, and it ended up being like a pretty late scratch. I think it came like not 5, but like maybe 25 minutes before game time. So something to pay attention to. Walker Kessler Ranger, which is a joke for maybe like 6 people. I don't know. Let's actually look at what Walker's price is. My Boston accent wants to come out and just be like, Walker Kessler kid. He is, $21. I don't know. Not my favorite. If Lauri sits, lock and load. But if he's playing, I think it's a little risky. Eric Gordon, whatever. Naz Reid's caps come up a little bit. Listen, Naz Reid he ran pure that first game, right? Where he ran, I think he put up like 50 actual points. Not actual, but SORARE points. But Naz Reid for $11, listen, I think he's fine. I think this play is fine. That cap at 15 would be a little bit sexier. 17, not as sexy, not as hot. All right, let's keep moving. Daniel Gafford. I don't really want to talk about him too much. He's another one that can flash upside because he gets blocks and steals, but minutes aren't super secure. Seth Curry's going to have games. Seth Curry is going to hit shots and have games at some point. He hit a bunch of threes last night. I think he scored over 20 real-life points. I'm fine with it. The thing that bums me out about Seth, look, cap of 16, projection of 19. He doesn't do a lot of the peripheral stuff, although I think he did put up like 5 rebounds and 5 assists last night. So I don't know, whatever. I like other spots. Josh Richardson, listen, we talk about the Spurs every single week. I don't love Josh Richardson. Maybe I'm still burnt from his time with the Boston Celtics, but not my favorite. Drummond, again, I don't love it. Isaiah Jackson is so dependent on Jalen Smith or Miles Turner missing time. Now, last night, Miles Turner was questionable up until the game time. He ended up playing, but something to note, Jalen Smith did miss the last game. Let's actually see what Jalen Smith is saying over here. Jalen Smith. All right. Oh, that's Jabari. Where's Jalen, bros? All right, here he goes. All right. He's got him projected to play. So Jalen Smith, maybe not the play that, maybe not Isaiah Jackson, maybe not the play that we thought he would be when we were talking about it. Okay. Wait, okay, here he is. Isaiah Jackson. Back to the cap of 15s. All right. So I don't really love this range. The Spurs thing, it all depends on who sits. If we get news that a bunch of these dudes are sitting, Doug McDermott, Josh Richardson, fine plays. But both these guys questionable. They also only have one game this weekend. If anything, it makes me like guys like Keldon Johnson, Jakob Poeltl, if Poeltl's back, and Devin Vassell a little bit more. All right, here we go. We're down in the 14 range. Bang. We got somebody popping. Jalen Johnson back to the Atlanta news, right? So we already know what's his name? Johnny Collins is in a boot, but still at the stadium, which is something that we have to talk about now. But anyways, Jalen Johnson, Culver, Griffin all get nice little boosts. Bogdan Bogdanovic is back, but they're limiting his minutes. And so they have 2 games this weekend. My guess is that Bogdan plays one of them and not both of them. So with Jalen Johnson being this like stretch big kind of, I still think he gets a little extra run, especially with Collins out. I think Jalen Johnson is a great play. His cap's also 12, which we love. We love that his cap is 12. Christian Coloco, whatever. Goran Dragic, the Dragon, whatever. Javonte Green is still popping. I will never understand. I know he's bright green. I don't think he's a good play. Jared Culver, however, I think is a okay play, but if DeJounte sits, he's a great play. Already priced up though, but look, at cap of 11 with a projection of 17.4. Let's go look at Culver. Again, I actually hate this play if DeJounte is back, but if DeJounte is not out and it's only 863. All right, there we go. Now I kind of like Culver if Murray is out. Torian Prince, whatever. Obi Toppin, whatever. Dwight Powell, whatever. I don't love any of these. All right, down here, PJ Tucker, pass. KZ Akpala is still popping. I don't really love this. I don't really understand the Cam Thomas projection either. Trent Forrest, same thing. Trent Forrest, again, this is all Atlanta news, Atlanta-based. See, this is what I'm saying. This shit is hard now, all right? This was so easy the first, 5 weeks. This is hard. We really got to grind these edges when it comes to injury news, but the Atlanta situation is the one to monitor. I don't know how many people paid attention to that Knicks-Hawks game last night, and DeJounte hasn't gotten a lot of buzz about him being hurt, so I think paying attention to that Atlanta spot, Jared Culver being the one that really sticks out. Culver, Jalen Johnson, and who was the other one we missed there? AJ Griffin. Those 3 Atlanta guys, clearly some of the best stuff this weekend. The other one, not a lot of cheapos, right? Not a lot of cheapos. We found Quentin Grimes again, but that's like a cap of 17. So it's going to be really tough. I honestly think it could be one of those weeks where you just punt one of your positions and try to fit in some studs, because I just don't think there's a lot of great value. Or maybe you go the other way and you play a completely balanced build. You don't put any studs in and you just go 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. It's tough. It is tough. I'm finding it to get a little bit harder, which I like. That's what she said. But I think I like that this is becoming a little bit more challenging, and the game theory is just you really have to grind the edges. One other thing I kind of wanted to do is look for a high end but cheap MVP, right? So AD currently with the highest projection. They got 2 games this weekend. Just a reminder, he did miss time, so we got to pay attention to that. But these are all really expensive, right? So let's slide down here. LeBron, I always think it's funny, man. LeBron with a cap of 47 and a projection of 46, but he's only $81 right now. Let me actually double check to make sure that's up to date. But when you think about what you're spending on some of these guys, and LeBron can still put up 38 and 8. So he's got a low ask of 76. And you're looking at guys like AD's 175, Luka's almost 400. 267. So if you're looking for some of these cheaper MVPs, we got LeBron, Pascal Siakam, who's been awesome. Siakam is almost guaranteed 25, 10, and 8 or something like that. He's just been so consistent when he's been on the court. $80 for Siakam. Honestly, might be buying that. He's got a cap of 46. Let's see if there's anybody with that really outkicks their projection here. DeAndre Ayton. All right, DeAndre Ayton's cap is 40 and projection 33. That's no good. We don't love that. But look at this one. Paul George, who it's kind of tough to he's looked a little rusty since coming back, and Ty Lue and the Clippers mess with their minutes all the time. But a low ask of 44 and a cap of 38. We do know what Paul George's ceiling is. So that's kind of sneaky. You get Julius Randle, but that's tough. He just put up 84 points. So that's a tough one. Zach LaVine, De'Aaron Fox, Jaren Jackson Jr., all these guys have quite a bit of upside they can get for cheap. If you're trying to get a cheaper MVP or a second guy to go with your MVP, right? Anyways, I appreciate everyone being here. Like I said at the top of the show, join our Discord, join our VIP, and make sure you come back and hang out with us on Mondays and Fridays for our Live Before Lock. It's been really cool meeting a lot of these new So Rare people. We've been covering the basketball here for a couple of years between the NBA and Top Shot, and to dive into So Rare and seeing some new people coming over. It's been really cool to see you guys interact with the community and get involved during the live shows. So if you have just been lurking and just sitting on the sidelines, feel free, drop a message. It's good hearing from everybody. But good luck out there. As always, use Momentum Labs, sign up for So Rare using our link, and we'll see you tomorrow.